Welcome, everyone, to Your Little Castle Show, where we get to highlight the leaders in our community and just the fun stuff that goes on our little planet here. There's a Cardinals home opener coming up, Sam.
Really? I haven't heard.
I think it's kind of a big deal. We're excited. Cardinal Cowboy was just down at spring training, and a whole week down there. 5 games, 1 day off, and 1 game for what was it? Anyway, it was a lot of fun. We got a private tour with a Mets fan we went out to the ocean on this very expensive boat. That was fun. But you make friends all over baseball, just going to games, hanging out, talking. We end up in the front row, and he's sitting next to me. He goes, I get these front row tickets if you buy them at the right time. He was up at St. Lucie. That's where the Mets play.
Port St. Lucie, yep.
That's where the Cardinal Cowboy got on TV again for National MLB Game of the Week, Mets Cardinals preseason, spring training. And Ron Darling was talking about the Cowboy.
Oh, yeah.
And saying, hey, how do you become a Cardinal? It starts with, some fun, we'll just say, is kind of what Ron was talking about. We'll play that clip for you guys here in a minute. That was fun. But we're here today to talk with an expert who is by far the most knowledgeable personal friend I know of, period. Randy Carricker and Sam Sumadi. Sam, welcome to the Your Little Castle Show.
It's an honor to be mentioned in the same sentence as Randy Carricker.
I was just at an event with him 2 weeks ago, a month ago, and got a private little thing. I said, can I bring my camera? They're like, nope, no media is allowed. The upcoming GM for the St. Louis Cardinals was there.
Chaim Bloom, maybe?
I didn't say that. You said it. I didn't say that. But it was a special event, and it was neat. And I won't talk any more about it. I'll show the picture. I did get a private picture with him. I'll show it to you privately if you talk to me, maybe. But it was not a big deal. It was just the entities involved did not want a bunch of media around this because then it's another thing they got to manage and all that stuff. You know how that goes. But it was cool. Fast forward to spring training 2025. Spent a week in Jupiter. Got a nice little Airbnb. I actually produced one of the shows. It aired last week. We have 2 shows with 2 of our guests. Is our great tree company, rc-tree.com. Check them out. But Robert and Cody were in here talking. And then the third show, I had some of the footage already recorded. Went down there, shot a bunch more, interviewed a bunch of people outside the stadium. You got to get down to spring training, everybody. Sam, you ever been to spring training?
No, but it's definitely been on my bucket list.
That's on the bucket list, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You need to do it too, everybody. Shout out to our sponsors. Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things. Where do you like these things? In your little castle, in your little kingdom, in your little stadium, wherever it is you enjoy life, you got to have great furniture.
Absolutely.
So put your feet up. Watch the Cardinals are only home for 81 games until they make the playoffs, right? And then 81 games you got to watch on TV. Might put your feet up, get yourself some furniture. I don't think they sell TVs there. We've done 3 Airbnbs, so we got all the furniture from Carroll House Furniture. Thank you, Brooke and Amy. Because you like nice things in your little castle, like I said. Quick, I don't show this picture off very often, but this is a montage. Sam, have you ever made your own cornhole boards?
I have not. I bought some that are really nice that are half Cardinals, half Blues, so they're pretty sweet.
That's a cool little setup for some cornhole. This is I made my own. I'm a little bit of a do-it-yourselfer, and I had to cover it with something. I'm like, I'm just going to take still images, put them together from all of our. They're all shot in high def, so they look pretty good. And I said, and I put that on the board like this, and then I made a wide version of it. So if you want to play some cornhole with us, you can see a lot of the guests that have been on the show. But Your Little Castle Show, highlighting the leaders in our community to make it happen. And just a short sample there of everything. We've got some trophies in here, man. Kind of cool. 3 of the 4 World Series trophies are right here in our studio. We got a 4th one somewhere. I can't tell you where. These are replicas made by the Cardinal Cowboy with some of my expert shop skills they talk about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or there's ones you can get from secret locations that I can tell you about. This one here, right? Look at that. All right, Sam, let's dig in here. I'm going to jump into a little spring training. I'm going to show you some pictures. We're going to change on the walls here. We'll put up on the walls. There is Sam's Facebook page. So you want to get a hold of Sam? Easy to find. Big baseball fan. And we miss Rambo.
We do.
Rambo is a hero for all of the dog lovers out there.
Yeah.
And
we made a TV appearance back in 2019 at the Pooches in the Park game.
And is that the picture from
that
event?
Yep.
You can bring your dog to the Cardinals game once a year.
Absolutely.
They got their
I think it's in May.
scoopers just in case. A little extra hose. We got to hose things down a little bit after. May I don't know. The dogs are usually pretty good, but that is such a fun event. There's all kinds of little furry animals around there. Cardinal Cowboys Facebook page out there. Got a new page. We launched a new page about 3 years ago. Had about 10,000 followers. Changing up what we were doing and did some really cool stuff. But now we had about 10,000 followers then, but we're going a different direction with a lot of stuff for a few reasons that we wanted to do that. And essentially they're saying you got to have more of a national brand. I'm not even joking, so that we got Cowboy instead of Cardinal Cowboy. But I'm still known as Cardinal Cowboy. The Cardinals know that, and everybody knows that. And it's a lot of fun doing our stuff that we do with the Cardinal Cowboy. So if you're going to end up enjoying some fun stuff from the Cardinal Cowboy, over 4.9 million views on the Cardinal Cowboys Facebook page last year. So hopefully some people will enjoy that stuff, and we'll get another 5 or 10 million views this year. Not followers, I'm talking views. Everybody talks about followers. I'm a marketing guy. It's not about how many people you have follow you. It's about how many people saw what you did.
Your content, exactly.
If you're trying to get eyeballs, Facebook does pay me. I get paid by Facebook every month. Nice little check. It's nice. I like it. They're trying to match what you get from YouTube. I just always been on Facebook mostly. I've got a YouTube also, but Facebook, all of a sudden they said, hey, you've earned the monetization. Fill out the thing, connect your bank account. I got my LLC, Digital Business Pro, and checks just coming in every month. I like it. But we have a lot of good fun stuff out there. Sam has been a contributor many times at Cardinal games, other events, streaming live here many years ago when the studio only had one big TV wall.
Yeah, I remember that.
Some old chairs. Got some good sponsors. But with that, Sam, let's jump in right to a little bit of what you saw in spring training. Sam studies this quite a bit. That's why I say I'm kind of what they call the color guy with regard to adding some excitement, adding some brightness, adding some flavor. And Sam's the one who knows all the stats and data and information. I did do a pre-up for the Cardinals lineup because in the games for the Cardinals down in Jupiter, they have one roster up who's batting and the other roster's lineup is not up. But the Cardinals were in the field because they don't bat first when they're playing at home in Jupiter. Right. And so I'm looking around, all right, I'm going to name them. Herrera, Contreras, I think it was Gorman, Wynn, Arenado, Donovan, Ciani, and Walker. And then I looked back and I saw, I must have missed center field. Ciani, there was Nootbaar. I missed something. Couldn't see that far out. No, Nootbaar was DHing, so I didn't miss it. He was in the dugout. I couldn't tell. But anyway, so that's cool. I get to know the players. But if you really want to learn about the players' lineups, this guy, Sam Sumadi, STL Sports Guru. All right, Sam, take it away. Starting with catcher, we'll start behind the plate. Big change a couple years ago. This guy named Yadier Molina decided to hang it up after, I think, 18 years.
Yeah, I believe it was 18 years. That sounds right.
And who's coming to help fill the gap there?
So we had
a couple things we changed there, but go ahead.
We had Wilson Contreras, where there was some issues there between him and the, starting rotation. It kind of called him out a little bit, maybe. So he's then they asked him to move up so that he could frame better. And what happened there?
Broke his wrist.
Broke his arm, I think.
His arm, yeah.
So now they put him at first base because Goldschmidt, they didn't want to re-sign.
Right.
And he's only played 11 career games in MLB at that position, last time being in 2019.
In a regular season game.
In regular season
because he was, and that's at 11. He was playing some spring training. We saw him there. Maybe the 6 or 7 spring training games are going to get him ready. 10, 15. I guess what are there? 11 and 14? Is that what you looked up before?
11 and 14 record, yes.
Right now. So they're not doing great, but I was giving grief to the Mets fans. Hey, I got called out by Ron Darling, walked into the stadium, had the trophy with me, sat down. We went to the first game in St. Lucie, the Mets home field, but Cardinals were playing there. It's an hour drive from their Jupiter location. And I sit down, they know it, but the guys are like, hey, we got on TV. My friends are sending us texts. And I'm like, I think I might know why you got on TV. And I saw, and they said, and they played it. And there it was, Ron Darling's going, how do you become a Cardinal Cowboy? Hey, how does this Cardinal Cowboy thing? Let's put it up real quick on the screen. I'll show you that. And then we're going to go through the rest of this lineup because this was fun. And this is what you get to do down in spring training. So check this out. Where'd it go? Yeah, that's right here. Right, it's behind me. But I just got to click if you look, I'll refresh the screen here. That'll bring up my first, because it's our most recent post. If you want to see all of what we had to share at spring training, there's a picture of it. I'll zoom out here a little bit. There's our wide, you can see there. But I'll go back and refresh one more time. That brings it up front. There it is, everybody. That's fun, kids. Everything. I click on that before it gets away. Did I make it? There it is. So check it out. And there it was, everybody. Take a look. It's the Cardinal Cowboy. He's the Cardinal Cowboy. They called me out, and then these guys sent the video to me, and there's a picture from it. And Ron Darling said, how do you become a Cardinal? Keith Hernandez, former Cardinal.
Yep.
How do you become a Cardinal Cowboy? And he said, I don't know. He starts off with you got to have a little bit of craziness and fun. It's a nice way of what he was saying.
Spice it up.
Spice it, hit some fun. But that's the fun we got there going on. So thank you to those guys. And that came about because of the changes in the lineup and what were we talking about? But Herrera hitting 350 or something.
He hit 301 last year during the regular season and 800 OPS. This year he's hitting the cover off the ball even more in spring training. I think he's at about 355 average wise. So everything's just blistering off his bat. He's hitting with a high slugging percentage currently. We just got to worry about him throwing out runners because he only threw out 4 out of 59 would-be base stealers last year. So that's definitely an issue.
4 out of 59.
Not a great percentage.
Yeah, usually your good catchers are getting 60 if they're really good, 50 if you're doing okay,
right?
40 if you're trailing. How many was it?
4 out of 59.
That's less than 10%.
That's not good.
Yeah. Have to work on that one a little bit. There'll be some base stealing going on against the Cardinals. The game has changed a little bit. Maybe there'll be some more I call that. Is that the old Whitey ball, isn't it? Back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And
that's what I grew up with.
I was talking to my friend Kerry Robinson. He was in the studio the other day. We're talking about some fun stuff, and I talked to him afterwards, helping with Kerry with some fun stuff. I said, Kerry, what about just hitting the ball and getting on base and stealing and bunting and squeezing? That's fun too. Oh no, got to hit home runs. Kerry does a lot with the Cardinals. He's a good guy. I won't give you all the details. If you look him up, you can figure out what he does. But he played for the Cardinals for a long time, and that's kind of just a neat insight. And he talked about it, man. He had a great average. I said, why did you make it? Because he talks about he got drafted a little lower than a lot of guys.
Right.
But it came up, and because I out-hit everybody. Bottom line, if you hit,
you play.
They will find a place for you to play. Right?
If you hustle, he'll play even more.
Left field, center field, right field, first base. Those are kind of ancillary. You got to be skilled to play third, short, second, catch. Catcher's like, if you don't hit, you can still play as long as you're a really good catcher.
Exactly.
Herrera can hit. Contreras now at first.
So,
talk about Contreras at first a little bit.
Well, I haven't really seen a whole lot of footage, but I'm really hoping that, he can just play average defense because, he's just going to murder the ball all over the park.
Contreras, when he hits a ball, it is a line shot usually every time. 50% of the time, it's a line drive. Every time. All right. Second base.
Well, I'd say it's going to be a split between Brendan Donovan and Nolan Gorman. Gorman's going to take some DH. He'll be in the lineup as a DH sometimes. And he's supposed to get, I just read, 550 to 600 plate appearances this year because they really want to give him a really good look. Long leash. No, I'm sorry.
Gorman. Okay, I'm sorry. You're going back.
Donovan, though, he'll play a lot at second, too, but he's also going to be at third base. Outfield.
Yeah, left field typily.
Possibly shortstop if necessary, I would think. He could probably do it all, honestly, except for pitch.
Right.
Well, he's probably did that when we were getting blown out like 11-0.
He throws the ball hard across the diamond, man. He could probably throw a nice 96-mile-an-hour fastball if he had to.
Speaking of that, Mason Wynn.
That's what I'm thinking of. Mason Wynn. That's what I was referring to anyway. Mason Wynn's got that arm.
He's got a cannon of an arm. He throws over 100 miles per hour. They said at one point he could be a two-way star, but the Cardinals aren't interested in him being a pitcher. But his glove is amazing. His arm is special, and his bat last year was very amazing.
Not hitting as well this year in spring training, but give him a chance. I'm saying there's a chance. And with that, he reminds you a lot of my favorite shortstop in the history of the world, probably the best shortstop in the history of baseball. Who would that be?
Ozzie Smith, the
Ozzie
Wizard?
Smith, there he is. Ozzie got his picture with the Cardinal Cowboy. A charity event. I was talking to the guy who took me to that event. I was lucky to get a picture with Ozzie Smith. Ozzie and I have met a number of times at different events. Super, super nice guy.
One of the nicest guys I've ever met.
Yeah, just always super nice, professional, courteous, and he's world famous, like one of the top 7 humans in the history of the world, especially with regard to sports talent. You have to argue that. I mean, where does he rank? Michael Jordan, okay, Muhammad Ali,
Wayne
Gretzky, Ozzie Smith. Maybe, right?
He's up there somewhere.
He
might not be on the Mount Rushmore. But he
Stan Musial, Albert Pujols. I don't know, Albert Pujols or Ozzie Smith. I guess Albert has a better bat, but
Yeah.
Ozzie was magical with the glove, man. It was
Very true. One of a kind. Best all time.
That win reminds me a lot of the Cardinal Cowboy. I played shortstop back. They got some diving plays. My dad used to record. Somebody said, "You Cardinal Cowboy? Are you the guy they call Ozzie Smith?" So the gal said, I was a Cardinal Cowboy back then. But I did hit well, made all Metro, Slava MVP. Standing next to Morgan Burkhart. That was one I was going to pull up. We'll share that here if we have enough time. We're moving through here quickly. We're already 15 minutes in. And Morgan Burkhart now is the San Diego Padres, I think, assistant hitting coach.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would hit Morgan Burkhart. I was standing next to him in the MVP thing. Brian Rupp's right behind me. It's on the Slava website. They found our picture. My dad took this picture years ago. I'm in the middle with the purple shirt on, of course. Tie and the polka dots, and everybody's got their ties on. And to the right, right to my immediate right, Morgan Burkhart. Behind him, Brian Rupp. Brian Rupp got stuck behind some guy named Scott Rowland. Ever heard of him?
Yeah. He's pretty good.
So we've got a win at short, but we've got a third baseman that's is Arenado better than Scott Rowland?
That is a tough question.
They're different style players, really. I mean,
I would say the arm. Yeah, I mean the glove, the arm, and the bat are all elite. Obviously, that's why Rowland's already in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Arenado won 10 straight Gold Gloves / Platinum Gloves. He's been a Silver Slugger many times, All-Star. He got third in MVP voting in 2022. Obviously, he's had a decline since then, but they say that he's gotten better shape in this offseason and to try in an effort to get his power back.
Yeah, I mean, I got a buddy of mine who worked on his house. He said, "You know who lives right there?" I don't know if I can say where it was, but nice house. But there was a lot of discussion that he was off. He was going to be gone this year.
Oh, yeah.
And then when Bregman went from Houston to Red Sox, who needed a third baseman, that pretty much left it to where we're keeping him.
Yeah, nowhere to go.
I think that's fine. I think
I'm glad.
awesome.
I'm happy about it.
You're already giving up Goldie. You're going to give
Right.
up your top two players. You got to keep one of them. And it hurt. A lot of people thought he was just done. That was it. He was out. There was nothing to do about it. And here he is.
Yeah.
And he's playing a little bit. Left field, who you got?
Left field, I mean, you got, I guess, is Walker going to be out there right now, or is he in right?
Walker's been in right from what I've seen. When I was down in spring training this year, Walker was in right. But I think you're going to have Gorman at second, Donovan in left. Or you got Scott, who might be center, Ciani in left. But you got Newt.
Right.
We talked about it. Everybody said, why is it? I say it in spring training too. Why is everybody booing Newt? Newt. I said, no, they're saying Newt, not boo. And I asked the crowd. This crowd's kind of figure out what kind of crowd you got. I said, who was the other famous person that they used to boo, but they weren't booing? You know what I'm talking about?
Bruce.
Isaac
Okay. Bruce.
Isaac Bruce. Okay, but you're thinking, I was thinking Bruce Sutter.
Oh,
but I was actually,
yeah.
before that, when you said Bruce, but I'm thinking actually, they didn't say, it would start with an L.
Lou Brock.
Lou
Yes.
Brock. I said some people, I said, who's the other guy? Because Lou was probably the most famous Cardinal. That obviously they said Lou, one of the top Cardinals in the history of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Lou's up in heaven right now, too. I got to hang out with him a few charity
He
events.
was one of the nicest, most genuine guys I've ever met as well.
Awesome guy, yeah. But they would say Lou, Newt, and then right field Walker.
Walker and right. You got to put him there. Center field, I would argue Victor Scott has earned the starting spot because he's hitting 366 with pop in spring training right now.
That's a big jump because they gave him a shot last year. He started, I think, the season in center because they had an injury to Carlson, who is down with
the
Tampa
Rays. Yep.
right now. I looked that up the other day. And kind of like Fletcherline, I think, but maybe he'll come back around. But anyway, Scott didn't hit a lick. And then they're like, okay, you got to go back. And gone for the rest of the year. I guess at the very end he came up for a minute or something like that. But bottom line, Scott, you're saying, I hadn't just said, that's why we bring Sam in here, everybody, because he is the STL sports guru. And 360, what?
366 with power. Keep in mind he also stole 94 bases in the minors last year.
94 stolen bases.
Who does that remind you of?
Oh, Vince Coleman.
Vince Coleman.
Could that be a Vince Coleman flashback?
Only player ever with 3 100-plus stolen base campaigns in a row.
That's right.
Not Ricky Henderson. Vince Coleman.
85, 86, 87?
I believe so. Yep. That has to be.
Vince was not on the 82 team.
No, 85 through 87.
Lonnie Smith
that's
was
right.
on there. Vince Coleman. Taking it back to the old school from an old fool who's so cool. All right. Well, there's our starting lineup. You guys I got to show you more of the pictures on as we'll get into that. Finish up here with us, everybody. For the end of the show, we will have a whole list of the pictures we've got. We're going to take them right off of our website here. They're linked. Go to cardinalcowboy.com. Over 600 pictures and interviews and videos from spring training. Cardinalcowboy.com. It's the newest post. I just put it out there. I don't do a post but once every couple of weeks or every month or whatever. And check those out. Spring training was a blast. It's something you should definitely do. We're going to put up here a little bit of our ESPN. ABC and ESPN have an affiliation. A lot of people do know that. And I'll move that one over. Sam, so who are our starting pitching prospects this year? I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Sonny Gray's the ace, of course.
They talked that he might not be back, but he is.
He didn't want to. They offered to trade him, and he wanted to stay, be part of the winning culture, just like Contreras. Sonny Gray is having a really rough spring. I don't know if he's tipping pitches, but his ERA is about 12.5. But you got Eric Fede, who we got from the White Sox last year.
Yeah.
You got the Steven Matz and Miles Michaelis duo, who've been with the team now for several years. They're on the last year of their contract. You've got Andre Palante, who's the reliever, turned to a good starter last year. He allowed 3 earned runs or fewer in 15 out of his 20 starts last season. And then you got Michael McGreevy, who I think only started 3 games last year, but he was a stud, and he hasn't allowed a run in spring training either yet.
I'll put it up on the screen, everybody, there from ESPN.com, MLB/players, Cardinals. I'm not a player. I just crush a lot. Well, some of these guys have been doing a great job. Signed Gibson, so he's gone. Lynn's gone. Kind of sad to see Lynn go and Gibson.
Yeah,
I like
them both.
2 good starters from last year. They're both gone. But Fetty's great. I mean, I'm not amazing, but pretty dang good little pickup. Obviously, you got Sonny, Nicholas, and then where were we at? Matt's made his first pitching appearance in spring training. The day we walked in there, I'm like, I think that's Matt's on the mound. I think that was the game I was talking about. And is that Matt? I said Matt. I'm like, what's his name? It's Matt. Matt's. His first name's not Matt. His last name's Matz. Stephen Matz, right? So is it Stephen?
Stephen Matz.
Stephen Matz, yeah. Matz might be that 4th guy, and then McGreevy 5th, and then
Palante. But they also said they might go to a 6-man rotation.
6-man rotation. Explain what that would do to the Cardinals lineup here. Lineup.
I mean, I think it would give all the pitchers more time to rest, recuperate. Right. Is a big one. Maybe it puts a little less pressure on the starters as far as like how deep they have to go. So just a quicker recovery time, in my opinion, might help, especially Michaelis and some of the guys that have had a lot of injuries over the years, which Michaelis definitely has, and Matz for sure has, as we know.
Yeah, that's what we're looking. It's pitching. So I'll tell you privately about the quick conversation Mo and I did. He walked past, and I was like, Mo, can I get a picture with you? He's like, yeah. He was just walking. He walked on by himself behind there, and just kind of everything's a little more intimate. More, you get to see things closer. Guys are hanging out. They can actually talk with you a little bit. When you're at big league stadiums and stuff, you're not allowed to talk to the players. You're not allowed to interfere at all, obviously, or disrupt or whatever it might be. But you got to be, professional and courteous everywhere. I kind of let the fans do whatever. I stand back and I do my funny thing out in the crowd in the stands, of course. But we did cheers with the fans, and then one of the kids came up to his dad came up, hey, Cardinal Cowboy, you did this cheer with my son. I said, well, let's do it again. He said, yeah, that would be great. So we did a quick cheer out in the stand. Hey, everybody, this is, I have to look him up. He's in the videos. Check it out. CardinalCowboy.com. Click the spring training link and see all that stuff. But Mo came up or walked by, and I said, Mo, I said, Mo got a chance to talk to the Cardinal Cowboy. That's what I should say, right?
Absolutely.
But Mo, it was very nice, and I said, this is not a bad lineup. There's nobody on this lineup that I'd be like, whoa, they're just weak. A lot of time your catcher for a lot of these big
automatic out.
It's 180 or something, right? But no, Herrera's it's better than almost the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Last year, and a great catcher. But I said, and he looked at me, he goes, if we can just hit. And I'm like, if you think, why wouldn't they? Except that there's psychological things. What is it? That's where it's the Doug. I've said this to a couple of guys. I did get a chance to talk to Chaim for a minute at another event. And I said, man, it's always the dugout. It's the clubhouse. What's the mentality? How these guys getting along? What are they doing to pump each other up? Or, there are issues within the clubhouse. Brand new season. Nothing going on that I know of right now, obviously. But how does that affect them? Do they have that let's go get them mentality? And do they pick each other up and they help each other? The clubhouse makes a difference.
Huge difference. Because
it's a $180 million salary spend, or a $60 million like the Pirates, but the Rays, and they end up winning the Or
Going to the World Series.
ALE's going to the World Series on a $60 million, $30 million, whatever it was. Not much, and they're in the World Series. So that's what we're looking to see if the Cardinals can pull that off. What do you think? Where do you think they're going to finish this year?
I'm going to predict somewhere probably between 2023 and 2024, somewhere around 500. Unless a lot of things could fall into place, though. If Jordan Walker has a bounce-back year, that's a big one. If Nolan Gorman has a bounce-back year. If they had their 2023s this year, we'd be in really good shape.
So what do you mean by that, 2023s?
Well, last year, they both got sent down. So the year before, Walker had a pretty solid rookie season. I think he had 16 homers, had a respectable average, hit for pop. And then Gorman, he slugged. He had 27 dingers, I believe, that year. Whereas last year, his strikeout percentage went up to like 40%.
Yeah, big leagues is tough to hit. If you're trying to swing, that's why I wanted to talk to Coach. I was like, or Mo, I was like, Mo, if you need some help, Morgan Burkhart, did we talk about this already? I think the first.
Yeah, we touched base on
it, but we had a crash one of the times. Sometimes the production here crashes. The computer can't help that. But sure, there's something that Bill Gates, I could give him a call and he'd be like, oh. But anyway, Morgan Burkhart standing next to me. He's a batting coach for San Diego Padres, probably tied to some affiliation he had with Schilt, obviously.
Yep, I would think so.
So he's over there, and I looked up like Morgan Burkhart. He's standing next to me in this picture in the Slava Most Valuable Players. But is the hitting? I mean, why do we hit for home runs so much? Let's put the ball in play some whitey ball.
I mean, I miss those days. I mean, we've got the guys to do it. You think about it, you got Mason Wynn, who could tear up the bases. You got Victor Scott, VS2. I mean, he's fast as you know what.
Yep.
Like, Newbar's pretty,
Pretty quick.
Pretty quick. I don't know. And Donovan's Mr. Hustle.
Yes.
I mean, he knows. And it all comes down sometimes to being smart about running the bases.
Very true.
And, you don't have to be fast to be a good base runner.
I'm going to show up on the screen here really quickly, just a glimpse of the fun that we had there. We'll put this on the far wall, take a zoom out look. But this is what we did there, and we got about a minute. So I'm going to show you some pictures from spring training. Check out this lineup, what we said. I think we're going to be all right. So that's the middle relief. Who's our closer this year?
Ryan Helsley.
Helsley's going to be back, right?
He broke the saves record, the franchise record, with 49 saves last year.
Yeah.
Beat Izzy.
That'll be fun to watch again, too. They signed him. They thought they might not, but they did.
Yeah.
Check this out. And if you can't hear it because the audio's going out through here, but they're talking about it. There's the Cowboy. There's the Cardinal Cowboy. And this is sent this over to our guests, our buddies at the and they said, hey, wait on TV. I said, let me see the video. I'm like, yeah. But as I'm talking about the Cardinal Cowboy showing up, and he got the real world through his trophy. How do you become a Cardinal Cowboy? And they said, oh, yeah, it starts off with somebody who's just a diehard fan. How about that? And that's what we got to do there a little bit. So thanks, everybody, for that. And then, like I said, go over here and check out, as we finish up here, the Cardinal Cowboys videos or pictures on our website, and go check out all these pics that are on all over the place over there, everybody. Stay tuned for more excitement. And as a matter of fact, I've got a couple minutes left over here. Take a look at these pictures, man. It is a blast, and there's so much fun from beginning to end, including when I was changing my shirt in the car to get ready for the game. But there it is, man. There's lots of fun. This is what you can take a look at and see. Walt Jocketty is the guy sitting there. Dave, he looks like Walt Jocketty. I said, you look like Walt Jocketty. Did you turn to a Mets fan? He was the guy sitting next to me that got the text that said, hey, you guys are on TV. But just go down and through and all kinds of fun. And at the end of this is our picture with Mo. I will skip going through all of them to show you that. But check it all out. Go Cardinals 2025. Last chance to put you on the spot. Okay. Out of the division, where do you expect that they will finish this year, given everything we know so far?
I would say, if everything falls into place, we could win the division. But that's asking quite a bit in the middle of a retool or a rebuild, whatever you want to call it. Right. I could see us getting second place, a wild card, possibly. It just seems more realistic to probably think of maybe third place, but you never know. Cardinals have had a lot of magic over the years we didn't expect it. 2006, they barely snuck in, won it all. Same with 2011.
So last year's record was one half game worse than when they won the World Series in 2006.
Correct.
because they had one less game they played because they didn't have to. It ended up didn't make a difference because they were going down to the end. Oh, and then I think Astros lost, and that gave it to the Cardinals, and they said, well, you don't have to make up that game. If they'd have lost that game, they would have had the same record as in 2006 last year, which was a terrible team. So it's all about who gets hot in the playoffs.
Right.
True.
Absolutely.
And because how many teams,
or just down the stretch.
Right. Yeah, towards
You're
the
playing playoff games for the last month just to get in. You're battle tested, battle proven.
Yeah, and you mixed up your lineup, picked up a couple players at the trade deadline, all that kind of fun stuff. And then, how often is the team that actually has the best record in the league win the World Series?
Not very often.
It's like 1 out of 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that team, everybody. That's not who you want to be. So lots of fun there, everybody. Check it out. I'm going to do a little editing here. I said, let's go over a little bit. So you're getting the extended version right now. I might just send it to ABC like this and say, check it out and see all the fun we've got. But we'll see you at the Cardinals game. So we talked Cardinals 2025. Deep dive in the Cardinals roster and lineup. See you at Busch. CardinalCowboy.com. Thank you, Sam Sumadi.
Thank you.
The STL Sports Guru. Giddy up.